Okay, welcome again. This is part 2 of my update of January, what's coming in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or whatever, into the inauguration most and foremost. So January the 6th, as I mentioned, starts with a waning half moon. Those 7 last days of this lunar cycle, solar lunar cycle, which started with the December 14th total solar eclipse. So we're just coming into the conclusive period of those 4 weeks. Crisis in thinking, reorientation are the keywords of this phase of the moon. What stands out in this chart is that Juno Astrea conjunction right at the ascendant, which is the power of the people. Juno is teamwork, teaming up with each other, supporting each other, standing together, holding up a big structure, a big roof. It needs many pillars for. That's kind of the idea. In Sagittarius, the sign of Jupiter, of expansion, of pushing hard for truth and a higher understanding, the greater picture. Sagittarius is very universal, very out there. No surprise, universities are ruled by the Sagittarian energy. Sagittarius also the sign of the lunar south node. I haven't marked that. That's exactly opposing the north node. So it is the Sagittarian energy of higher insights, which are to be transformed, tuned down, so everybody can understand it, to the Gemini sphere of lower mind, of, in that sense, more down to earth ways of understanding things versus out there, a kind of a little bit lofty and removed, as Sagittarius often appears. So let me just look at my notes here quickly. What is interesting here is the the American nation Saturn is here at 14 degrees Libra. So this is another indication that this will be a serious matter we're dealing with here. Also, there is this grand square Juno, which I just mentioned, Astrea, about cleaning up, rolling one's sleeve back and getting back to order in that sense. Now there's Okiroi here. Okiroi always shows up when things are accelerated. And AW 197, which I mentioned several times before, is that stealth mode of the art of war, of teasing the enemy to make all the mistakes and then turn the whole thing around, so in the end the enemy destroying himself. That's kind of the energies here. So this is all interestingly captured in this T square, together with the part of fortune here up here too. So we can expect quite a spectacle. Those of you who are tuning into what happens then day by day, it will be quite a crazy show we can expect going down in Congress starting tomorrow. Now, I also did make the midpoint chart between this waning moon and the American nation's base chart, and what stands out here is that black moon Mars right at the ascendant. So be warned, this will also lead to all kinds of incidents. Naturally, we can expect that with the tensions so high. So just be really aware and don't get caught to stand alone in a place. Always group up with other people who support you. So we don't want to take chances. This is also the moon with Neptune. There will be lots of deception going on. Still, we know that this has been the theme for a long time. This won't change so quickly. We will be played in many ways, the public, I mean. And what further is interesting, furthermore, is the okay, I want to go back here quickly to this chart. Venus at the galactic center right here. Okay, that will be the big event also for the 6th of January. This is a promising move, a promising energy. Venus, harmony, balance, beauty being the topics which will be favored in a big way. And naturally, for all the people coming in support of President Trump, this is very beautiful. It shows this intrinsic harmony, supporting one another, which also I have indicated with this Juno here. If we now move to the chart when this session will be opened, which is the seed for what the outcome will be eventually. So again, we have 2725 Capricorn here in midheaven at 1 p.m. On the 6th. Mercury is right up here, meaning it's a matter of finding out what is the truth, what is at the bottom of that pile, who has won. Pluto in the American nations chart is at this degree. I should show you this quickly here once more. Pluto 2732 Capricorn in the American nations chart, and this is that degree which is right in midheaven, very wonderfully synchronized with what is going on down here in Washington on that day and that hour starting. Furthermore, very interesting, this moon at 21 degree Libra in alignment with the vertex point. The vertex is the higher dimensional descendant, kind of the focal point where things, energies are naturally moving towards in a higher dimensional way. The moon representing the people. So the support of the people is really the fuel for the outcome. That is what it's indicated here. Later today then, and I mean, I read an article by USA Today which kind of describes the process, although they still speak of the other guy being the one who will be confirmed, which naturally it's all that disinformation. But aside from that, that article was quite good. It says, yes, there's many objections will arise from senators and congressmen, women. So it will be taking quite a while to get to the bottom of it all. They speak of probably up to 18 hours of discourse, of debates, and that easily can take us into the end of the week or even into the next week, which I'm projecting. This might be a mammoth task to get to that final conclusion. So anyway, this is a start, and later that day on the 6th, Mars is changing signs, and Mars is the male power of activation, of doing it. It is action-oriented, and Mars changing from Eris, its own sign where kind of the seeds were planted for a whole 2-year period, if you want, with Mars leading the kind of the being in command of executing, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, but Eris is just getting things ready. Taurus is the sign of manifestation, really. So Mars changing into Taurus means now we get to see things. Before it was kind of mere getting ready, planning the last 6-7 months. And now as Mars moves on into Taurus, so this is a start of getting things manifesting, materializing. The moon at this time, when Mars changes signs, in exact opposition to Eris, which I mentioned before, the shaker, the one who throws in the challenges, so we might hopefully come to the core of what is true. Eris, E-R-I-S, for those who have a hard time understanding my pronunciation, E-R-I-S, and named after a Greek goddess. She started the Trojan Wars. She threw the golden apple of discord into the middle of the table and sparked that looming conflict into the open. So what we further see here is Pluto here, again strongly placed at the 7th house cusp, showing that this debate is out in the public. Everybody can see it, it's fully exposed. Then on the 8th, on Friday night, actually 9:45 already it is PM in Washington, kind of likely when we are in for the weekend to start rethinking what happened. Sun is having its yearly conjunction with Arrokoth. Arrokoth, that little body which was discovered by the New Horizons space probe. Again, very meaningful, that name in itself, New Horizons, opening New Horizons. That space probe, which was launched in 2006, traveling for 9 years, catching up to Pluto, its destination in 2015. And as this space probe was approaching Pluto, astronomers were going over their books and trying to find another body they could redirect that space probe toward. And Arrokoth was the one they found, and they decided to look at, and that happened actually on January the 1st, 2019. when this space probe was flying close by to this most distant body ever cartographed by humans, about 50 times as far away as the sun is from us, really in deep space in the Kuiper belt. And what was found was so unusual, so exciting, that scientists now have to rewrite the history of our whole solar system, of our whole universe. They were taken by surprise of what they found, and that again is an indication of what this body represents in astrology, and has been confirmed already quite a bit. It is that sudden opening of seeing the whole picture. It's kind of an enlightenment which happens when Arrokoth comes into the picture. We are able to integrate, to put the pieces of the puzzle together. What stands out again in this chart is what is in the 4 cardinal points in Washington. The energies Hygia again, Bienor, Ceres and Neptune, as well as Orcus. Once again, that same cross we saw in the January 2nd chart, which I showed you in my other earlier video of this series. When Earth was closest to the sun, that yearly reset point, you see that is Hygia here is at 1254. In the meantime, up to this point, this is the one Hygia has moved on a little bit. Hygia again, transformation of our past, going over the books, integrating and working through karmic issues, through what we were missing to work it up. Ceres about harvesting. Orcus, as I said, alchemy. And Bienor is the strong man. It is standing in one's power. Then on the 10th, on Sunday, the sun enters hexagram 61, joining Pluto in this 6-degree roughly area, 2045 till 26, 22 and 30 seconds, according to the Human Design Systems teaching, the overlay of the 64 hexagrams. I have the breakdown on my website, thecosmoswithin.org, and if you're interested, I will put the link below. Again, we have the 5-degree Sagittarius and Gemini axis activated. I think it was in this chart. Yes, that's the one. That was the waning half moons chart for the 6th. So this repetition in itself is interesting. Hygia is strongly placed. Hygia, health, well-being, being at the right moment at the right time. So this is another auspicious chart, auspicious injection of energy on that path towards clarity and truth. And now comes Theoris. I will do a separate one on that, because this will take again a little bit longer. Theoris is a centaur, has been named after that centaur who has the powers of a bear. And as we found in astrology, that little body is the fierceness of a bear's, of a mother bear protecting her cubs. It is that natural instinct to do the right thing and to care for whomever we love, and what we love, what is dear to us. This energy was in the sign of Leo for a few years, since July 2017 actually. You can't find it here in this program. This, you just have to believe me. That's the here at this point. So it has actually, it is here. Sorry. Okay, got that wrong. So yes, Theoris is here visible. So it moved back into Leo. It will move back into Leo on the 11th of January for a last dip. And again, Leo seems to be the energy which helps this little body to fully express itself. That last few months in that sign of Leo, of the sun, of taking charge, of fighting for freedom, is very interesting, to say the least. Again, we have the asteroid Hygia highlighted, this time with the part of fortune. And the moon is aligned with Venus. So this tells me that the amount of people out in the streets supporting President Trump and the Patriots will grow. It will, every day as this process goes, it will get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it will come to that place where it will be so overwhelming to these people who are trying to block and impede that their resistance will be broken. They will be removed. They will be taken down. This is the fierceness of a bear we are unleashing here. Interesting, just a little confirmation of how powerful this is. This is the midpoint chart of that moment when Theoris goes back into Leo, and the American People's Chart, which is October 8, 1898. So that is a time-space midpoint. And that moment you see the sun at 15 degrees 42 Libra, and guess what? Theoris at this moment was at 1528 Eris, exactly in opposition. So this tells me, yes, this is something big to watch out for. This will manifest over the next weeks and months. We as a nation will take back the power from those who have been cheating on us. New moon on the 13th at 001 AM. And then the Mars-Saturn square just a few hours later, 6 hours later. So basically this powerful new moon conjunct Pluto will also be having this energy of the Mars-Saturn square, which is acting on behalf of Saturn, Mars acting on behalf of Saturn, Mars, the executor of law and order, if you will. So yeah, we will see some big actions kicking in then, likely around that time. Sun-Pluto conjunction a day after, just a day later, and interesting at this point, the moon has moved on to exactly align with Pallas. Pallas standing for truth and justice, for doing it in a kind of a letter by letter way, by the rules of law. Pallas also often depicted, it's the Pallas Athena, the blindfold and the scales and the sword. And as I shared here in my last one, just want to repeat this quickly as it really is important. This black moon here at 9:29, the collective shadow point at this point in time unfolding. And if we do the midpoint chart with the United States base chart for that moment, the same degree as at midheaven. So shadows will get fully exposed by that time. So again, that's just a little breakdown. There's much more. You see there's Juno down here again. And just a little preview as we are approaching the 20th of January, the big day when the next president will be sworn in, which will be Trump, 100% guaranteed. By that time, the midpoint will make a perfect Sun-Jupiter conjunction, which in short could be called a victory, a breakthrough, expansion of the energies we are needing on this planet at this time of our evolution to move on in the right direction. Thank you for joining and listening, and talk to you soon again. Love you all. Appreciate you. Thank you.